Hey, Sasha here from LongPlayVinyl, and we are currently digging at the Seriosha Record Shop in Havana. Most people say this is the only record store in Cuba, so we're gonna look through what they have here, maybe buy some records, maybe find something interesting. ABBA on Melodia label, ABBA Arrival, another ABBA Arrival, a lot of ABBA. A lot of them are on Melodia on Soviet pressings. So I found quite a few interesting Soviet releases. Here's the Led Zeppelin Stairway to Heaven. Here's the Rolling Stones Lady Jane. The Bon Jovi, the '89 release by Melodia. Delicate Sound of Thunder, which I already have. There's the Beatles, The Hard Day's Night, also on Melodia and EMI. Unfortunately, all of these are like pretty badly scratched, so I'm not even gonna ask how much they are because I don't want to bring like destroyed records with me. So another thing I'd like to mention here: if you ever come here and dig through your records, you'll find cockroaches on the records and running on your hands from time to time. So a good advice would be, if you do buy stuff, make sure you take the records out of the sleeves and clean out your sleeves before you put them in your luggage and bring them home. So I found the Deep Purple, the House of Lights. Deep Purple, Smoke on the Water, the Melodia person, Aria, the different forms of lyric. And there's two more that I have no idea what they are and I have to ask the guy, but they look pretty cool.
Folklore latinoamericano. I sang música latinoamericana.
How much are this?
Please?
How much are this?
Each one is 5.
Each one is 5?
Yes.
You do a discount if I buy more?
Sorry.
No? Alright guys, so pretty cool shop. Unfortunately, a lot of records that they have, they're pretty much destroyed. And you know, it's one thing when it's a dirty record, but a lot of them are scratched, so they wouldn't be playable or they just wouldn't sound well. So in the end, I bought 4 records, 3 of them Cuban records and 1 of them a Russian record that band Aria, the Russian metal band that I like so much, press on Melodia record. So I bought 4 records mostly because the prices are quite high actually. 1 record is 5 cooks, which is a bit more than $5. They're in pretty bad shape, scratched up, very dirty. The covers are all ripped up, so you know, it's not really worth much in my opinion. The problem is that most of these records, the Cuban music, you won't be able to buy anywhere else but Cuba, so I kind of had to get them because of that. Otherwise, I don't know if I would buy anymore. We stopped by a few bookstores and they also had records, and they're asking 10 cooks per record, which is, you know, like $12, $13, maybe even more. And they have just like stuff that nobody wants, and they're all scratched up and beat up. So they're thinking is this like huge thing that they discovered a gold mine and they could sell a whole bunch of records to tourists, but in reality you really have to look for something interesting, and you have to either you're ready to negotiate or pay a very high price. If you want to buy records in Cuba, it might be a good idea actually coming up to people on the street, the locals, and asking them if they have vinyl records, simply ask if they have discos, and some people will actually have them. And from what I understand, from what some people told me, is that they know somebody who knows somebody whose uncle has a lot of records, and they're ready to let them go for a rather low price. So that's a suggestion that you could try out. Maybe just ask the locals, and people might have something interesting for you. So today we had a friend of a friend of a friend who came by and brought a whole bunch of records, hoping to sell them, I guess. And I looked through all of them. First of all, none of the records had any kind of sleeves or covers. All of them were completely scratched, very deep scratches, and some of them even looked like some kids were scratching designs on the records. So that's another thing to watch out for, and a lot of people will tell you that they have records, but they're not good at all. So guys, this is what happens to records in Cuba. Yes. Alright folks, so we're still in Havana, Cuba, and as they say, a friend of a friend talked about this place and told me that this guy had records here. We're on the 26th, on the corner of 21st, basically between 21st and 19th, on the 26th Street in Havana. And this man here sells old records and books as well.
Esto es muy bueno.
So I went to see him, and I looked through maybe 100, 200 records, and I bought two different records. One of them, he told me this is more of a folk Cuban music, and this is more of a salsa music. Now, what happened is that, once again, it's Cuba, it's Havana, and you have to be kind of careful. You never know what to expect from these people. So I asked him what he has. He brought me these records, a pile of records, and he's like, that's all I have. I looked through them. Once I picked a few, he's like, it's 5 pesos, 5 cooks each, which is, once again, quite a bit. It's
5 each, cada uno. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 25 pesos cada uno, sí.
So I only picked one because I had no idea what others were, and they just look like typical music that I'm not interested in. And once I paid him, he said, well, I have a whole bunch of others, but they're not in that good of a condition. Gracias.
Gracias.
He brought a whole bunch of other records for one cook, 1 peso each. And some of them were in really good condition. This is where I picked the other one, the salsa record, for one cook, 1 peso. If you want to dig through more records in Havana, this is a place where you could go on the 26th, between the 19th and 21st. It's more of on a corner of the 21st. You'll see from the street, this is how it looks like in the yard of that man, and this is where you could buy more records. You could ask him straight away, I guess, give me the ones that cost 1 cook instead of the ones that cost 5. So yeah, another place to dig for records in Havana.